Hello students, let us start our new session of chapter number 8, gravitation. Let us start with the new topic, gravitational potential energy. Here, the force available due to the gravity is conservative force and we can calculate its potential energy, that is known as gravitational potential energy. For that, let us consider the surface of Earth, the points very close to the surface of Earth at the distance smaller than the radius of the Earth. So force of gravity is constant, that would be equal to mg, that is towards the center of the Earth. Now let us consider a point is available at height h1 from the surface of the Earth and another point vertically above this height h1, let us consider as h2. So here the work done to lift that particle, that object of mass m, from first position h1 to the second position h2, so that is work done W12 equal to force into displacement, that is mg into h2 minus h1. So potential energy W into H at the point at height h above the surface, W of H equal to mgh plus WO. That WO is the constant value. So, and W122 work done, we are having W of H2 minus W of H1. This is what the work done in moving the particle. That is the difference of the potential energy between its final and initial position. So if that height h is 0, that W of H equal to 0, that is a W0. Means at height equal to 0, whatever the work done is required, that is a constant value. And this H is equal to 0, it means that point, that object is available on the surface of the Earth. So WO is the potential energy on the surface of the Earth. So now a point outside the Earth at where the force of gravitation on a particle is directed towards the center of the Earth by having the force F equal to G ME into M divided by R square, where ME is the mass of the Earth, small m is the mass of the particle, and R is the distance between particle and center of the Earth. So work done in lifting that particle from R equal to R1 to R equal to R2 at a vertical path, that is work done 1 to 2 equal to integration of gmm by R square into dr by the limit R1 to R2. This gmm, that is a constant, let us take outside the limit and integrate 1 upon R square dr by the limit R1 to R2. So here by integrating and putting its limit, we are having minus gmem 1 upon R2 minus 1 upon R1. And potential energy at a distance R, that is a minus gmem divided by R into W1. So this is what W1 to 2, that is a work done between 2 points, that is WR2 minus WR1. And if this R point is available at infinity, so let us take WR at infinity by equating W1. So that is a W1 is a potential energy available at infinity distance at the point. If we are taking W1 is 0, then potential energy at the point is just the work, just amount of work done in displacing the particle from infinity to that particular point. So here the gravitational potential due to the gravitational force of the Earth is given as a potential energy of a particle of unit mass at that point. And gravitational potential energy associated with these two particles having a mass m1 and m2 separated by distance r, that is V equal to minus G m1 m2 by r. If r is infinity, potential energy V equal to 0. So in that isolated system of particles, we'll have a total potential energy that would be equal to sum of energies of all the possible pairs of particles. This gives the example of an application of superposition theorem. Let us go through the example. Find the potential energy of a system of 4 particles placed at the vertices of a square of side L. Also obtain the potential at the center of the square. Here 4 masses are available at the vertices of square having a mass m. Each 2 mass are available at the distance L in a square side. So 4 masses having a mass m of the center having a length L and from the center having a distance r. So here these 4 mass pairs a distance L and 2 diagonal points are available at a distance root 2 L. So W of R, that would be equal to minus 4 gm square by L minus 2 gm square by under root L. So by solving this example, we are having the value minus 5.41 gm square by L. And R that we are having root 2L by 2. So potential energy we are having U of R, that would be equal to minus 4 root 2 gm by L. Now the next concept is escape speed. Let us consider that object can reach infinity having a speed Vf. This energy of an object is the total energy of potential and kinetic energy. W1 let us take as a gravitational potential energy of the object and plus kinetic energy. So total energy E equal to W1 plus m Vf square by 2, that is a potential energy plus kinetic energy available at a infinity. If this object was thrown initially with the initial speed Vi from the point at a distance h plus Re, that Re is the radius of earth and h distance gives the from the surface of the earth object is available at height h. So at that point the total energy E equal to h plus E of h plus Re equal to 1/2 mvi square, that is the initial kinetic energy, minus g m me upon h plus Re plus W1. So here by the principle of conservation, that above both the equations are same. So by equating both the values, potential energy will be cancelled out from both the sides and kinetic energy variation we are getting by equating this equation mvi square by 2 minus gm me divided by h plus Re divided equal to m Vf square by 2. Here RHS is a positive quantity with the minimum value 0. So LHS must be with the LHS. The same value would be equivalent. So object can reach at infinite with speed Vi. So also if RHS is positive, we can say mi square by 2 minus g m me upon h plus Re greater or equal to 0. At minimum value of Vi, that would be equivalent to LHS, that would be equal to 0. So the minimum required speed of an object to reach at infinity, that is equal to 1/2 mi square equal to g m me upon h plus re. And make the subject of formula V minimum, Vi minimum, that would be equal to under root of twice g me upon re. Here, this small g can be, we are having small g equal to, that is acceleration due to gravity, equal to g me by re square. So by placing that value in the above equation, we are having Vi minimum equal to under root of 2g re. By using the value of g, the constant value 9.8 meter per second square, and re, that is the radius of earth, we are having a minimum velocity of the object to reach at infinity about 11.2 kilometer per second. This required minimum speed is known as escape speed, also known as escape velocity. So that equation gives the equally well when object thrown from the surface of the moon, where g is replaced by acceleration due to moon on its surface and re replaced by radius of the moon. Here both are smaller values, re and g. Both are smaller values for moon than earth. So we can say that escape speed of the moon is smaller than escape speed of earth, that is a 2.3, that is about 2.3 kilometer per hour, 2.3 kilometer per second, that is a 5 times smaller than the earth. So that's why we can say that moon has no atmosphere, and if gas molecules will formed on the surface of the moon that has having higher velocities than escape speed, that is due to gravitational pull of the moon. Let us go through the example for the same. Two uniform solid spheres of equal radii r but mass m and 4m have a center separation 6r as shown in the figure. The two spheres are held fixed. A projectile of mass m is projected from the surface of the sphere of mass capital M directly towards the center of the second sphere. Obtain an expression for the minimum speed v of the projectile so that it reaches the surface of the second sphere. So as you can observe the diagram, two objects are there. Both are having a different mass m and 4m, having a radius r. Both are separated at 6r. And here, let us solve this example. We are going to calculate the minimum speed equation v. So here this projectile is acted upon two mutual opposing gravitational forces of the sphere. Let us take a neutral point N. It defines at the position where two forces cancel out to each other. So here that is what N point we are taking, where effect of both the forces are 0. That is On equal to small r. On equal to small r. So by equating its equation, g mm by r square equal to g 4mm by 6r minus r square. By solving this equation, we are having small r equal to twice capital R or minus 6 capital R. Minus 6r cannot define over here. So that small r, the neutral point, that would be equal to twice of r. Here it gives you the speed at which we can reach at neutral point N. So here now, the greater the gravitational force of 4m is available, so having a mechanical energy of capital M is initial energy EI, total initial energy EI equal to 1 half mv square minus g m by r minus g 4m m by 5r. And at a neutral point N, the speed approaches to 0 and the mechanical energy at N is purely a potential energy. So at point N, the total potential energy from both the objects we are having minus g mm by 2r minus g 4m m by 4r. So from that conservation of mechanical energy, let us equate this equation. And we are having 1 half v square minus gm by r minus 4gm by 5r equal to minus gm by 2r minus gm by r. Here small m is equated from both the side and make the subject of formula velocity v. We will get 3gm divided by 5r raised to 1 half. This is what the equation for the velocity required to reach at a neutral point N. Next, let us understand Earth satellite. Earth satellites are the objects which are revolving around the Earth. Their motion is just like a motion of planets around the sun. And these laws are given by the Kepler. It's known as the Kepler's law of planetary motion. This is also applicable for Earth satellite. They are taking a orbital path around the Earth. This path can be a circular or elliptical. Moon is only the natural satellite of the Earth, having a near circular orbit with a time period 27.3 days. That is roughly equal to rotational period of the moon. So here we consider a satellite in a circular orbit having a distance RE plus H from the center of the Earth, and RE is the radius of the Earth and H defines from the surface of the Earth the distance of that satellite. If small m is the mass of the satellite and v is the speed of that satellite, then centripetal force is required to move in that orbital path, that is mv square by r, that is mv square upon re plus h, that is directed towards the center of the Earth. So here this centripetal force is provided due to the gravitational force. That would be equal, that gravitational force equal to g me into m by re plus h square, where me is the mass of the Earth. By equating both the above equation and make the subject of formula v, so v square equal to g me upon re plus h. Here, if v is decreases, h is increases. So here in the above equation, if we want to calculate v by placing h equal to 0, that we are having v square equal to gm upon re, that would be equal to small g into re. So here at every point, the satellite traveling 2 pi re plus h distance with speed v. For that, time duration t is required 2 pi re plus h divided by v. That would be equal to 2 pi into re plus h raised to 3 by 2 divided by under root g me. Here, by substituting the value of v and take square at both the side, we are having t square equal to k re plus h cube, where k equal to 4 pi square by g me constant values. Here which gives a Kepler's law of periods. That time period is required based on the Kepler's law that applied to the motion of satellite around the sun. So here, for a satellite that very close to the surface of the earth at height h can be neglected in comparison to RE. So for that satellite, time t is defined as a time t0 that would be equal to 2 pi under root RE by G. By substituting the value of G and RE, T0 is about 85 minutes. Here we are going to end this session. Hope you understood. Thank you.